Okay, we turn 1 today, and as we've promised on our first anniversary here at ET Now, Big Corporate Voice every hour. On Business Thursday, we are now speaking to Sanjay Kapoor, CEO of Bharti Airtel, on the telecom industry and Bharti's next big step in becoming a global player. Afternoon, Mr. Kapoor, and many thanks for joining us.
First and foremost, heartiest congratulations to the entire ET Now team. I think you guys are running faster than anybody else. To have reached the number 2 slot within a year's time is absolutely something to be very proud of. So once again, please congratulate everybody in the team for the good work done and keep it up. I'm sure the day is not far when you'll be knocking the doors for number 1 position.
Many thanks, Mr. Kapoor, for those good wishes. Well, let's focus on the telecom industry and look at how competitive it has become over the last 1 year. How have things really panned out for you, and what is your assessment of the marketplace right now?
Well, there is no parallel to India. 14 players jostling for space in a highly crowded market. It's called hyper competition for lack of any other terminology, and I would say it rightly describes it, because there's no other market where so many players really compete. But this is not sustainable by any standards. When you look at the globe, you will clearly find out that there are in most countries 3 to 4 operators, and fine, India is the largest country, and therefore give it benefit of doubt, and maybe it's good for 5 or 6 players, and we've always believed that eventually not more than that will survive in this market. But even in a 5 or 6 player scenario, for all 5 or 6 to make money is exceedingly difficult. So I think in a country like ours, maybe 3 will make money, and the balance will always be on the borderline or on the other side of the borderline.
Right, so Mr. Kapoor, you mentioned that there is just about enough room for just 5 to 6 players. So will Bharti Airtel look at consolidation opportunities if any do arise?
If you're hinting at acquisitions, I think very clearly there's a purpose for which you acquire. We have a reasonable revenue market share, and we are sustaining growing it over the last few years. I think with a multiple SIM and duality of SIM in the marketplace, the customers that sit with probably some of the new customers already sit with the big players. So the case for acquisition is not very compelling. But while I said that, Airtel has never been averse to inorganic growth.
Okay, Mr. Kapoor, what's your outlook on tariffs? Do you believe they've hit the bottom and we can see it picking up now?
Yes, I think the big glut that you saw and downward pressure on price because of the new entrants over time is dying down. I think there's a sort of parity in the marketplace, and the prices that have been paid for 3G have sort of put a lid on any more downward propensity on price revisions. I do believe that even the prices that exist today, although many operators are at parity, are actually not sustainable. They are not based on any economics or long-term viability. I think they're being driven by the euphoria and opportunity that probably is perceived in India for a very long term. And I don't know what that long term means, but I think as of now, clearly these prices are not tenable, and I think that to go down any further, the opportunity and propensity is very limited.
Okay, current price is not sustainable. What is your view in terms of minutes of usage? How's that looking, your customer base? Are you seeing some sort of an uptick there?
In fact, last quarter was very encouraging. Where not only the customers came onto the network with a big bang, but also the minutes came back like never before. The amount of minutes that we added during the last quarter probably are unprecedented. We've not added so many minutes, and the number of minutes consumed per customer actually went up after a decline for so many quarters. So clearly there is some sort of elasticity that exists in certain pockets of the market and customer segment base, and I think that showed up very, very, very clearly. Overall, we produce more than 2 billion minutes per day now, and that makes us probably the largest minute factory anywhere in the world.
Mr. Kapoor, you've not been able to hold on to those EBITDA margins of about 40% rather. How sustainable are these margins given the competitive nature of the market at this point in time?
This is a question that we are often asked, and it's not an easy question to answer. But all I can say is we do not give a forward-looking guidance on any numbers. All I have said is that in the past we've had a lot of drive into rural India. We've introduced new products and services, value-added services, and their penetration in rural India has been going up. And despite of the change in the scenario and the type of customer, we have by and large remained in the ballparks. And that's what we've been saying, that I think we aim to be in the same ballparks, 38, 39, 40, 41. I mean, as long as you are in those ballparks, you're fine. Can we increase it in a 14-player scenario? Too much? Answer is no.
What about 3G spectrum, Mr. Kapoor? Do you believe that will be the next big game changer in the telecom industry? Bharti Airtel, of course, has not been able to bag a pan-India spectrum. You were very hopeful of that, but how does it change things for you now?
Well, pan-India license is desirable at a viable price. Definitely, the auctions were very overheated, and the prices have been very severe. And I think given the sort of aggression that was shown during the auction, I think we are happy with what we've got. We were concentrated and focused, and I think we will unfurl our strategy going forward. But definitely with no operator having won a pan-India 3G footprint, I think this clearly leaves a room for collaboration going forward. And because nobody has got it, I'm sure many alliances will emerge, and customers will still see services being offered to them no matter whether you've won the license or you've not won the license.
What about WiMAX or broadband spectrum? Of course, we've seen a big winner in RIL. Do you believe there is a compelling business case for WiMAX?
I'm assuming when you say WiMAX, you are actually talking BWA. And BWA is technology agnostic. We at Airtel are not married to any technology, and we are agnostic to technologies. We will bring in any technology that makes sense for our customers. And very clearly, where technology is poised today, whether LTE, TDD or WiMAX, there are pros and cons to it. We have got a limited play on the BWA with 4 different licenses in 4 different parts of the country. We think we will wait for the evolution of the right technology and then pick up our bets going forward. But this will allow us to experiment with what's happening on the ground. Eventually, ecosystem matters. We've seen that in GSM versus CDMA. Eventually, GSM won that game because of the clear ecosystem that was much larger in GSM versus CDMA. Hopefully, what will emerge between LTE, TDD, WiMAX and some other technologies will also emerge. And I think we are in no hurry. We will pick up our bets as we see those technologies nurturing and developing.
Right, Mr. Kapoor, many thanks for joining us this afternoon and sharing with us your strategy and way forward and opportunities that you see in 3G as well as WiMAX, and of course giving us all those best wishes on our 1-year anniversary. Well, up ahead on Business Thursday, MTNL's bond issue is coming up. The stock is